Hello, crafty friends. How you guys doing today? We are going to have some fun today. We are going to make our birdwatcher kits. So I hope everybody has their binoculars with them. Okay. All right. Let's see who we got here today, honey. I know we got Roberta for a minute. Hi, Roberta. Glad you're doing okay, baby. Whew. All right. I heard some discussion. I saw some discussion there of paper hoarding, my favorite people. I should make up a t-shirt that said my favorite people are paper hoarders. Okay. So we got Kathy Girly Girl, we got Adeline and Lynette. And Betty. Hi, Betty. And there's Roberta. Maybe what we've got so far. Oh, there's Irene. Hi, Irene. I saw. Oh, hi, Kim. I've seen notes about giving puppies and kitties medicine every day now, twice a day. Fergus, our big fat cat, has to have thyroid medicine. We didn't know he had anything going on, but he just kept getting sick, so we took him to the vet, and we found out he had a thyroid disorder, and his numbers were like sky high. So we put him on some medication, and we got his immediate condition under control. And then we found out we get to give him this medicine for the rest of his life. So every day, Bryce gives him a pill in the morning and a pill at night. Fortunately, he disguises them in a pill pocket, and Fergie comes looking for them at the assigned time. So it's pretty easy all in all. So we have two kinds of cards in our packet today. We're going to focus mostly on the smaller cards because the larger cards kind of speak for themselves, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But the first thing I want to do regarding the larger cards is to remind you guys how to get 4 5x7s out of one sheet of 12x12 paper. If you just lay your cards out, it will look like you can get just 3 cards out of a 12x12. But one of you, and I wish I could remember which one of you and give proper credit, sent me a tip to how to, with the pill pockets, Adeline. You know, if the kitty doesn't respond to the pill pockets, there's lots of different flavors. Keep trying flavors till you find one the kitty likes, and then pill time is a piece of cake. The other thing you could do is wrap the pill. It's kind of gross, but wrap the pill in wet cat food right down the hatch. We've tried lots of things, and that's what works. But we found pill pockets, and he likes all but one. There was one he didn't like: salmon, tuna, one of the fish he didn't like, and the other one he liked fine. So anyway, I want to start by cutting up a piece of 12x12. Now I've already cut up my 12x12 for my cards. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to grab a different piece of cardstock. Just grab me one off the counter there, honey. Doesn't even matter what color. Just grab one you like or dislike, or I don't even care. Just a 12x12. Any color.
You want pattern or plain? Or...
Pattern's good if you see one. I'll use it anyway because I make lots of 5x7 cards. Just grab one of those, honey. It's fall time. Let's use orange. I can use that up when we do our fall cards. Hi, Glenn. Good to see you. Now, I was talking about Fergus. Teddy's the picture of health. Fergus is I think he's about 10-year-old rescue kitty. We have Fergus and Meredith, who's going to her new home today. She's moving in with Lauren. Meredith has been so unhappy. Meredith has been so unhappy since Lauren left, and her bedroom disappeared, and everything got torn up downstairs for the construction, and then Lauren moved out, and so Meredith has just been a very, very unhappy kitty. You know, is that light going to play too much on things? I can see that I can pull that screen back down if we need to. I just thought if we could do without it, but it looks like the light is messing with the paper cutter. Yes, Fergus is...
No, it's not.
Fergus is Teddy's very best friend. There we go. Thank you, honey. You fixed it. Okay, let's take our 5x7 card, and you have 4 beautiful sheets of 5x7. In fact, next we'll look at those. But you have 4 beautiful sheets of Graphic45 Birdwatcher paper in your paper packs, and those are specifically intended. You can do what you want, but when I put them in there, I intended those for the 5x7 cards. So to get 4 5x7s, I'm basically going to cut around the edges of my cardstock. I want to make sure my line is still here. 1, 2. Yeah, I still have a heavier line here that I can rely on. Okay. So I'm going to set my paper cutter to 5 inches wide. I'm going to cut down 7 inches. Then I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to go to 5 inches. And I'm going to go down to 7 inches on my paper cutter. My first one is loose. And then I'm going to turn my paper. I'm going to start cutting at 5. And I'm going to go down to, oops, stop that. I'm going to go down to 7 inches. I'm going to set my paper at 5. And I'm going to go down to 7 inches. I'm going to clip these free because I have just like a tiny little bit that it didn't get cut at the end. So I'll clip these free. I will have 4 5x7 layers out of 1 sheet of 12x12 paper. How cool is that? And this is all I have left. Pretty cool, huh? 4 5x7s out of 1 sheet of 12x12 paper. Using this technique, you will get 16 card faces out of the 4 sheets of 12x12 paper. And that will be enough to do all 16 toppers in your kit. Now, I only sent you 8 of the heavy cards because I didn't want the kit to get too expensive. But I'm sure most of you have 5x7 cardstock in your stashes. Let's look at this kit and see what's in it. I am going to need the ribbon out of here. Okay, in your kit, you are going to find, this is a really good kit for the price. You're going to find 3 sheets, I believe. 3 sheets of blue cardstock that I put in there so you would have some choices on your how do you know where 5 is on a rotary cutter? I don't know. I know. Are you talking about a
I guess he's asking more how do you know where the 7 is when you're coming down on your
Oh,
bird?
I have it marked on my board because I use this technique all the time. So I have a little hatch mark off to the side of my 7 that I actually put on there with a permanent marker so I can see where the 7 is. And that is how I can check it out. I cheat. Okay, so you got 3 beautiful 12 by 12s. I don't know if you can see it there, but one of them is that beautiful Basil Basics textured paper. You really can't see. Yeah, you can see it a little bit there. The one on top has a beautiful, nice texture to it. So you get those, and those are mostly for your smaller cards. Then you get 4 sheets of this really interesting and pretty Birdwatcher paper. You get this one. And you get this one. We're using primarily this side, but if you wanted to use this side, you could. Hi, Angela. This is beautiful, but that's not what we're using. We're using the tiled side because we're creating backgrounds. So we got blue tile, and I've got blue and white stripe. I could use this one, although this one's going to be a little busy in front of my print, so I'm just using the blue stripe. So we're primarily using this Birdwatcher paper for the, because the colors will be an exact match to your toppers. So you get 4 of those, which, as I said a couple times now, if you use that technique for getting 4 5x7s, you'll actually have enough to do all 16 of the larger toppers. You're going to get the topper pack. It's called Journaling Cards from Graphic45. And you get 16 of the larger ones as 16 of the smaller ones. That is 32 card toppers in one pack. You're getting a full pack of those. In your kit, I sent you 4 of the scalloped edge 5x7. I love the way these play with our cards. We'll look at these momentarily. But I sent you 4 of the ruffly edge. And I sent you 4 straight edge because I didn't have enough ruffles to give all ruffles. So I gave you 4 of each. And both of these cardstocks are 350 GSM. So that's our good stuff. And then I sent you 8 European A6. These are the ones that you just see me use all the time. And these are 350 GSM also, which basically makes them about the weight of a 100-pound cardstock, 100 to 110-pound card. And you get envelopes. You get 16 envelopes. Now, for use in your smaller cards, I sent you a number. I pulled up my card toppers as I usually do. I went to my paper shelves and I started trying to match to find colors that I thought would be beautiful and complementary to the toppers. Now, add to these. I just had them go ahead and give you big sheets of the blue because there's this card set has a lot of blue in it, and I thought the blue was beautiful too. So this is the selection of papers you have available to do your 8 European A6. Now, one quick glance at this is going to tell you should have way more paper than you need to do just the 8. We need to, we're going to have way more paper. You'll need to add a few extra card blanks. You should be able to use your USA 2 cards if you want to finish off the toppers, but you should have ample paper. Hi, Catherine, to do all of your European A6 cards. So this is what I sent you to go with the European A6. And then I also included a massive amount of ribbon. I can tell you that Brittany complained at me. She complains and complains when I use a lot of ribbon, and every single card that I created in this collection has ribbon. So I was in trouble for that. Some of you got this coral color, which I used a lot of. And some of you, I ran out of the coral color, but I had this beautiful crepe in the same color, which I think is going to make up beautifully. So some of you got some crepe. We just kind of substituted some crepe, and some of you will get crepe, some of you won't. It's not that I love some of you more than others. It's just that, you know, you run out and you try something else. That's it. So that is what's in your kit. I'm going to pick this one up. And other than the ribbon, I'm going to put this card set away because I already have the one I started for all the samples. And that leaves another one of these for one of you guys. So we'll put more ribbon in it because Brittany just loves to cut that ribbon. Since I'm going to use the ribbon up out of it. She actually likes to give me my ribbon. She gives me all the bits and pieces she has left. So yours will generally be, not always, but generally be in continuous pieces. If she gets to the end of a roll and is, you know, has to cut it in 2 pieces for you, she throws an extra foot or 2 in, so you're never caught short of having enough to do your projects just because you have 2 pieces. So I'm going to pull out, I'm going to put that back on the shelf. I'm going to pull out the kit I already have going. And just before we start our European A6, I want to take a perusal through these 5x7s. Since we're not going to make them together, I want to make sure you get a really good view. So come on in close if you would, honey, and let's talk about each one of these 5x7 cards we made. Okay, first card up. These journaling cards have 2 sides to them. You can use either side you want to, but I will tell you that if at first glance you don't see the topper I'm talking about, flip it over. You'll find it on the back of one. I really like these Little Bird Told Me cards because you can personalize these to any purpose. A little bird told me it's your birthday. A little bird told me you're under the weather. A little bird told me you did something really, really neat. A little bird told me congratulations are in order. You can make any of these cards into anything you want. So the first topper I'm using is A Little Bird Told Me. It's a light blue background with pink flowers and a black and white bird in the front foreground. I've used stickles on my topper. I put those on after the fact, but if you wanted to put them on, the stickles on first and let them dry thoroughly, you could certainly do it in that order. The very first thing I did with this light blue topper is that I surrounded it with some of my dark blue cardstock. Since my background paper had the background I chose for this one has the little roses in kind of that peach color, and it was kind of busy because this one had the big flowers. I just bordered this in a solid color to make those stand out. So just a little thought, just a little matte, and the blue just works beautifully to this. So, excuse me. Before I put my cardstock onto my my background cardstock, the peach roses on a white background, before I put that down to my card, I wrapped a piece of my salmon colored ribbon around the card and secured it to the back. Then I tied a 4-5-4 triple bow, and I put it right at the bottom. So that's how I did this card. The stickles I was using this is not a winter scene, so I use warm highlights in my stickles. And this is called Diamond that I used. You could use any one you want, but I tend in warmer scenes to use Diamond, and in cooler scenes like snow scenes, I like Twinkle because it's got a blue cast to it. Okay, here's my next card. This one's on the ruffly background. Look how neat that that Papermania scalloped cardstock plays with the background topper and all. So I used the white ruffly edge card base. I cut my topper in all cases. Well, no, it's not all cases. In this case, I cut my topper down to be, I would start with 6 3/4. You may decide you want to go to 6 1/2, but start with 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and see if it lets enough of your white ruffle show. You can trim a little bit more if necessary. Before I put that cardstock down to my card, I wrapped a horizontal line of my salmon colored. I will tell you, this all has the salmon color. All the 5x7s have the salmon. That's why I ran out. On this one, I tied a little double bow. That takes about 2 feet of ribbon, maybe a little bit less. I tied a little double at 4. If you're not familiar with what this means, hit our bow making class. I have one coming up. And I have kits available for that class now. Brittany finished them up yesterday. So we have bow making classes and kits ready to go. Okay.
Say hi to Elsie.
Hi, Elsie. Good to see you, friend. Okay. And in this one, this topper that I'm using on this card with the horizontal stripes on it, I put down the one that looks like 4 stamps, and it has pink lines going both directions. And I put my double bow right in the middle of the 4. Okay, next up, here's another one of my scallopy edge cards. Look how pretty that looks with that blue. Isn't that nice? I did the same thing with my blue layering card. Start at 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, then trim it a little more if you need to in order to let that white ruffle show around the edge, because it really complements the toppers nicely to let that little scallopy edge show. On this topper, which is this one's called Free as a Bird. It's got a hummingbird drinking nectar out of a big trumpet-type flower. On this one, I was going to say I layered it. I didn't. I just put it up on some foam squares on top of my blue feather background. And before I put that down, I wrapped a piece of my salmon ribbon around it and secured it in the back. This is another little double bow tied at 4. And the stickles plays really nicely with the hummingbird. Hummingbirds just cry out for stickles because they're so shiny and pretty anyway. Okay, here's another scallop edge card. And this time, once again, I've used those pretty stripes as my background. Before I put my stripes down on my cardstock, I wrapped a piece of my salmon ribbon around it, side to side. I tied a little bow for this one, which is a 4x4. This is the little topper. It's predominantly blue, and it has tiny hummingbirds on it. It says, if you want to fly, give up all that weighs you down. Really cool. Okay, next we have the ruffly edge cardstock again. And I used the blue feather background. This time, the topper says sometimes you just have to look up, and it's got a beautiful bird looking up. It's a predominantly light blue background. I took, before I put my topper down, and I did put it on foam squares, but before I put my topper down, I wrapped a piece of, just a short leftover piece of my salmon ribbon diagonally across the corner of that one and secured it at the upper right-hand corner. And at the lower left-hand corner, I put a 4x4 triple bow. So that gives a little different look to this card, but I think it's beautiful. Beautiful. Next up, my package is sticking to my arm. Next up, this one doesn't have any birds on it, which I found interesting. This one's using a blue tile background on a roughly edged card. I'm showing all roughly edged cards. You won't have this many ruffles. I don't know why I have so many in this stack, but that's okay. I'm using the blue tile background. I cut that down a little bit if I'm using a roughly edged card. And I wrapped my salmon ribbon from side to side before I put my layering paper on my background paper on. On this one, I'm using the, this has a light blue background, as do most of these toppers, and it has big pink roses. And this time I used a double at 4 bow, and I did wrap side to side on this one. Of course, I used stickles. Okay, here's another A Little Bird Told Me. This time I used the blue tile background. And I wrapped that blue tile background with a piece of ribbon side to side. And then The Little Bird Told Me, in this case, actually has a light pink background. And the bird is standing on a branch. And I secured my bow at the right-hand side of that. I tied a 4x4 triple bow. The coral really works nicely with these, doesn't it? I loved this color together. That's why you got it. And then this last topper in the 5x7 size uses the rose, the tiny rose print background. It's white with tiny pink or coral roses on it. And this one, I use the topper that says it's a predominantly light blue background with pink and yellow flowers and the bird. And this one says, robins appear when loved ones are near. Before I secured my topper on, I wrapped a little piece of ribbon across the upper left-hand corner and put a 4x4 triple bow at the bottom on the right. So there you go. That is all of our 5x7 cards. And you will have enough. We just went through 8 of them here. You will have enough toppers and background papers to do 16. You'll just have to add 8 more cards. You may even have some leftover ribbon for them. You probably will. Okay, let's go work on our, European A6 cards. We should have 2 of each. I'll show you. I tell you what, I think what do we want to do here? Yeah, I think it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter. I have 8 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so these are the ones I kept out as patterns. Okay, so the first card we're going to do, I'm going to grab one of my European A6, I'm going to fold it in half, I'm going to go to my stack of papers, which my papers are already partially used because you have samples. I'm going to get this holographic silver with little marks on it that make them look like flowers. Looks like this is going to be just a tad short for if I put it straight down to my card. So I'm just going to trim this and leave a white edge around it. That's what I'm going to do. It needs to be evened up. So I'm going to cut that to 3 7/8 by 5 5/8 so that I can leave a little white border all the way around it, and that's going to end up looking terrific. Before I secure this down, I'm going to grab some of my coral ribbon. As soon as I find the end of it, that's a big piece of ribbon. Which is what Brittany told me over and over again as she was cutting it. What I like to do with my ribbon, this works out great with a regular hunky-dory finger lift tape. What I like to do with my ribbon is put the ribbon the finger lift tape directly on the back of the ribbon. Can you zoom out just a little bit again now so that I'm not in such a confined space? Thank you. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and run 2 horizontal lines of ribbon across the face of my cardstock background. So I'm going to run 1 here. And I'll clip it. And here, Angela means this is 3 7/8, so I'm running 2 lines sort of at the middle. Sort of at the middle, and those lines are separated by about a 1/2 inch. I don't have to wrap it with a ton of ribbon at the back, just enough to wrap around and secure. I need to resharpen my scissors. I took the goo off of them, but I didn't resharpen them after I used all of that foam tape Thursday. If you're wondering what this is a Fiskars scissor sharpener. I've said before, and I hope all of those of you who already know what I'm going to say will forgive me, but I don't believe in using expensive scissors for crafting, especially crafting with paper, which automatically dulls. It automatically dulls your scissors. It just does. Paper is terrible on scissors. So what I do instead is buy cheap scissors and a Fiskars scissor sharpener like you just saw. I think we still have some in the store. And it's a little bit of an investment in the sharpener. I think they're about $18 thereabouts. But you can use $5 scissors and just sharpen them continually. And your scissors will last for a very long time. And instead of using a $30 pair of scissors, you use an $18 sharpener and $5 scissors, and they just work out beautifully. So you can go from having just terrible scissors to great scissors in that long. What I just showed you, it says in the directions for the scissor sharpener, I think to pull it 2 or 3 times. I never do that. I use 8, 9 times through. And my scissors my scissors become sharp over and over again. I was going to say stay sharp. They don't. They get very dull. But because I cut foam and I cut all kinds of things that I shouldn't be cutting with my scissors, but I don't worry about it because I have $5 scissors. I got a piece of gray hair in there. I don't think whoever I send this to is going to need my DNA. Okay, so I got my background on. Now I'm going to dig out my topper. And this is going to sound funny because it might sound funny, but I'm using the topper that's kind of red in the background. And you might think that sounds really weird with the pink, but it plays together really nicely when you put it on here. I'm going to get a piece of my soft yellow background. I was just checking to see if I had more yellow in here. I sent you 2 different colors of yellow in your packet.
Show where your mark is on your paper cutter.
Yeah, it's not as dark as it should be. Let me hit it again here. You guys know that I use this paper cutter. I use the Caterpillar Crop. That's my favorite machine. Now mine looks really messy because the Caterpillar Crop doesn't have painted on letters. It's just sculpted into it does on this ruler, but it doesn't on, well, actually, I guess it didn't even on this one. The hatch lines and stuff were a little bit hard for me to see when I would craft for a long time. So I took some black acrylic paint and rubbed across the entire face of my Caterpillar to make my lines darker. And since I did that, I've used it for years. So it's kind of messy looking, but it gets the job done and perfect. Here's my mark. I just took I just measured down to 7 inches, and then I put a dark mark there so that when I put my cardstock on and I'm measuring, I can see where to cut it, how far down to pull my blade. Okay? Yeah, I put it on the actual board. If I put it over here, it's just going to get rubbed off by the cardstock. So I put it over here. And then I'm just still having to kind of eyeball the cutting side, but it's a really good basic indicator of where I'm going to. Okay, so I took this red backed topper and I put it on some soft yellow. I think these little toppers are like 3 by 4. So I'm just going to give it a nice little edge around there. You can cut this on your trimmer or you can just eyeball it. So I've got a nice little soft yellow border around there, and I like the way that plays together. I can, if I want to, and I think I do want to, I can put some foam squares or foam tape on the back, which I'm going to do. Here I go, messing up my scissors again. The bow maker should be, well, yeah, it should be in their upcoming classes, I think. Not positive. I didn't look to see where she put it, but I would believe I can have Bryce link it too. When he gets back, he's wandered off somewhere. But when he gets back, I can have him link it. So here's my inspiration card. And there's our newly finished one. I think that's pretty. Okay. All right, next, let's do one of these. I'm missing, it never happens. Usually never happens, but if it was going to be missing something, I'm glad it was missing in mine. Seldom are we ever missing anything in our kits, but I got one. I was one short in my toppers that I received. So one of my cards, I'm not going to have I'm just going to layer these however I want. That's what I'm going to do. Then I'll show you all of them I did. I have 7 toppers left, even though I did 8 samples. I only have 7 toppers left because I was shorted one. I like this blue. I'm going to take this green background, Birds of a Feather, and I'm going to mount this on this darker blue cardstock. I like that because the birds have little light blue throats, and I like the way that the dark blue brings that color out. So I'm going to mount that here. And you have lots and lots of blue in your kit. So you should have plenty. Okay, and I have, that's pretty together. Let's see, I wonder if that's white enough though. Oh, that'll look good. I have a piece of pink left here that's a little small, but I'm going to make it work. It is 3 3/4 inches wide. The first thing I'm going to do is just even up my edge because I cut it by hand. So I'm evening up my edge a little bit. And if that's 3 3/4, then my width is going to be 3 or 5 1/2, I believe. 5 1/2. Yeah, I'm gonna make it 5/8 just so I don't overcut it. And then I can trim some more if I need to, which I do. I just second guessed myself. I'm gonna go to 5 1/2. There we go. That's a little better border, a little more even. I love that pink, and I like the white border on the pink. So I'm going to go ahead. Before I do this, though, I'm going to put some, no, I think I'll put it on my topper. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down then. I left a nice wide border around the edge, predominantly because my paper was small, but I think it's going to look good too. And we have a nice border around there. Live dangerously, Annette. Okay, now I've got my Birds of a Feather, and I'm going to put this on, but I think it needs a little ribbon. I'm just going to grab some of my green here, and I think my green's a little bent up here right on the end. I'm just going to trim that. I'm going to get a tiny piece of green. I don't want to get all carried away here. I'm going to get just a little tiny piece of green to wrap the corner. So I've got my white card with a pink layer and a nice white border around that. I've got my topper, which is green, with a bright or a dark, a medium blue, but it's blue, wrapped around the corner, or matting it. Now I'm wrapping a green piece of ribbon around the corner there. I'm going to tie a small bow Get one of my bow makers out here. I think I'll tie a small bow. Even a 4x4 might be too big for this one because it's got, I want it to drop down fairly low. So I'm going to try and see what a 3x3 looks like. 2 layers of ribbon, 3 wide.
Did you say hi to Sharma?
Hi, Sharma. Good to see you.
And hi to Thelma.
Hi, Thelma. Oh. Okay. And I'm going to just tie this off. I just wanted a little bow this time. We'll see what this looks like. If it's too small, I'll tie a new one. I don't think it's going to be too small, actually. It's really cute. And turn my tail so the shiny side's out. I'm going to cut a little whale tail by making a taco, fold it at the bottom, and then clip upwards towards the end of your ribbon. Make a taco, clip upward towards the end of your ribbon. And I have a very pretty little bow. Oh, I like that a lot. I'm going to go ahead and put my card topper on. I'm going to put it just a little bit extra high. Just a little bit. Higher than centered. I've got my best glue ever. I've got one of my needle caps on it from Ranger. I'll put a little bit of best glue on the back here. Don't need a lot. Just little lines of glue. I'm going to set this aside to dry and put that bow on. Okay. All right. Let's do our next card. We've already done 2. We're going to do probably 7. We'll see. We'll see how many we have time for. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty.
Loves the pink and green.
I'm going to use, do I want this one? That looks nice, doesn't it? But I also have this one. If I use this one, I think I need to layer my topper. Just looking at what I have left here. 2 there. I think I will go ahead and use the blue just because I've got a couple toppers I'd really like to use on that pink. And I'm going to layer this, mat this topper so that it'll stand out from my background a little bit. It's very muggy here today too, Mary. Maybe not as muggy as it is back east. We don't tend to get the same humidity levels you guys do. When it gets humid, it just rains. But it is overcast and humid today. Don't you think? It feels like it. The air feels damp. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this mat. I just want to make this topper kind of stand out from this light blue background I'm putting it on. So I'm using For the Birds, which has a light blue background, and I'm mounting it on a piece of blue with little kind of hash marks on it, background, and between the light blue and the light blue background, it just needed something to make it stand out a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to try some of the organza ribbon this time on this card. Let's go ahead and get this card ready to go. I'm not going to tape this down yet because I want to wrap my ribbon around it first. So I actually cut my paper to 4 1/8. I have to trim the bottom of my card just a little bit. I'll trim it to 4. Oh, I didn't get that quite even, so I'm trimming my card and my background piece. Oh, that's why, because my background wasn't even when I trimmed it. Okay. Okay, now let's see if this fits nicely. It should. There we go. It's going to be a perfect fit now. And I need to go 5 7/8 inch wide. You guys know that I don't like to cut my cardstock to size before I use it because it's just too much matching. But sometimes when you're doing some of these ribbon wrapping techniques, you have to do that. So I'm going to wrap this organza around. Honey, there is over in the tape drawer, there is some Scotch tape. Would you get that for me, please? Whew. Bob had a great birthday. And thank you guys for all the cards. He has really enjoyed opening all his birthday cards. He really likes that. I've told you before how much he loves getting mail. And today we're going to, hopefully after class, we'll be able to do his mining that I told you about with his birthday gift. He seemed intrigued by it. In fact, because it's mining rough, I really didn't want him to open the container in the house, but he was bound and determined he was going to open that up. Bryce finally distracted him with a, look how pretty that looks. Bryce finally distracted him with a card or another gift he was opening, I don't recall, but he distracted him so the mining rough didn't actually get the container get opened. He unwrapped it all, but he didn't get the container open. So, okay, I think we'll go ahead and put our bird down on top of there. I sure like that. That's pretty. If you're gluing on the back of this holographic paper, you can put it down with tape too. But if you're gluing on the holographic paper, it's fine to do that. Just don't press it down around the edges, because what you don't want is you don't want to get a line there where the glue is underneath. So very gently, don't push down on it. You can very gently, slide things around, but you don't want to get a ripple line there. So he saw me rub my hand across. That was fine. It wasn't rubbing my hand hard, just enough to, kind of get the glue together in the two places. Boy, that's pretty, that pink on there. I'm going to go ahead and put this down. I think I'm going to use some regular foam squares, so I'm not gumming up my scissors again. Let's get some foam squares on here. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, he really had a fun birthday. Unfortunately, Paula, he was really looking forward to Paula's visit, But Paula and Tim were unable to come after all because Paula messed up her back again, and traveling 6 hours each way in the car did not sound like a great idea when her back was hurting her so much. So they'll make a trip over here once she kind of recoups a bit. But I think he was a little disappointed he didn't get to see Paula. But we made a nice day for him anyway. It was fun. Okay, so I've got my bird on. Now I'm going to tie a bow out of this beautiful organza. Let's see what we get here. This is going to be pretty. The organza is so soft looking. It's beautiful. Some people call this crepe ribbon. I call it organza. Crepe means something different to me. I don't know if you guys remember our crepe ribbon in the store, but our crepe ribbon is a solid instead of a see-through, and it's got little lines in it. It's gorgeous ribbon, and I should use it again. I think we have some in our bow maker kits. I should use it again and remind you guys how beautiful it is, because it's one of my favorite ribbons. Of course, I have lots of favorite ribbons, and they're all in this store, so. I have had this shirt, Annette, for years, and I wouldn't get rid of it because I loved it, but it didn't fit. It hasn't fit for years. And I tried it on today and pulled it right on. So how about that? So the only thing better than having a really cool shirt to wear is a cool shirt that you haven't been able to wear in years. Then it becomes a real treat. So this organza that I'm using is, it's either 1/2 inch or 5/8. I just tied a 4-5-4 triple bow. Look how beautiful that is, and soft. That's gorgeous. So I'm looking at this. I was going to put it in the lower corner because it kind of matched what I did up above. I think it would almost fit better on the end. I can change my mind. I'm going to go on the end. I'm going to put some best glue ever on it. The best glue ever, as long as I don't totally soak it, will not go through my organza. It just sits on top and dries, which is one of the things that makes it fabulous glue. And I don't want glue lines showing, so I'm going to set this aside to dry. The downside, if there is one to best glue ever, is that it does take a while to dry. And basically it dries as a glue dot, which is fabulous because the glue dot actually becomes part of the fabric. And once you put it on there, it's not going to fall off. It just doesn't. So it's a really good glue to use on fabric and ribbon. Really good. 39 pounds now. 39 pounds and counting. It's almost 40, but I told myself it has to, because 40 is kind of a milestone number. It has to be, I can't be, 39 and 7/8. It has to be 40 pounds before I claim the 40. And it's really, really close now. I mean, really close. So that's pretty cool. Yesterday, somewhere down the road, I have to have surgery. And it was scheduled for September. I got to kind of deal with some girly issues. You know how those things happen. And I was scheduled for surgery in September. So we went to meet with the gynecologist / surgeon yesterday. And we had, when we first discussed it, he said I needed the surgery. I said, how about, since I just started Weight Watchers and I want to get some additional weight off, and it's probably going to help me recover from the surgery and through the surgery itself if I get some weight off, how about if we wait until I have lost some weight? Give me until September before we do the surgery. And he agreed. So our surgery was scheduled for September, middle of September. You'll see Margie teaching a couple of classes coming up. That's because I didn't expect to be available. Now I'm going to be available and Margie's teaching anyway. Good plan. Anyway, I'm evil. I'm so evil because she is a great friend and she'll do anything for me. But she is still a little camera shy. It makes her very nervous, and she doesn't sleep the night before she teaches a class. And anyway, I'm evil. But anyhow, she had agreed to help me out and teach a couple classes so I would have time to recover. And this is going to be beautiful, guys. Okay, this card. This card, I'm going to use the pink background that's got little all over holographic lines. I love that. This For the Birds topper is done in green. It's a bird's nest. And the background is green and the nest is sitting up in the leaves. And it's got two little pink flowers right off to the side of the bird's nest. So this pink background is going to be just stunning with that. And I think what I want to use is, I think I'm going to use my green ribbon, this pink background, and I think this is going to turn out really nicely. Anyway, we went to see the doctor this week to plan for the surgery. And the first thing I said is I told him how much weight I'd lost. And I said, this may be crazy, but let me float this past you. If I could lose 39 pounds in 3 months, if I had more time, and there's some risk to doing surgery on somebody as big as me, And I said, it seems like it would reduce the complications of the surgery and that it would reduce the complications and be healthier for my recovery if I were lighter when the surgery happened. And the conditions right now are managed with medication. So unless there's some reason that the medication would be bad to continue, I think we ought to wait again. And let me see if I can take some more weight off, because at my current pace, in 3 months, I should have at least 75 pounds off. And in 6 months, I should be down over 100 pounds from my original. And he said, I'm so glad you said that. I said, why? And he said, I was sitting here thinking the same thing and then wondering if you were going to be offended if I said it. And I said, no, I'm not offended at all. And it just, I'm really enthused about what I'm doing. I'm happy with the current pace. And, why don't we just postpone everything? And he said, done. It's a done deal. Let's do it. I'll cancel the surgery and we'll talk again in 6 months, because in 6 months you'll have less risk, less complications, and you can keep your focus right where it is. And so that's the plan now. I don't have to have surgery and Margie's still teaching 2 classes. So there you go. I'm happy all the way around. I didn't really want to go have surgery anyway. Eventually it's going to have to happen, but it doesn't have to happen now. So I told Margie about it and said, well, you don't have to teach both those classes if you don't want to. She said, but I'm all ready now. I said, okay. Alrighty then. Okay. All right. I'm going to tie, I think, maybe a double 4. Let's try a double 4 on this one. I wrapped a little piece of green satin around the upper left-hand corner on the diagonal. And now I'm going to tie a double 4 bow using my nifty jifty bow maker. Oh, Betty, that's a disaster. Thank you, Mary R. It is, it's not been hard. I mean, people congratulate me and say that's wonderful, but it has not been hard, honestly. I'm not an ambassador for Weight Watchers, and I won't be one of those people who says everybody should do this because it works for me. But I will tell you, it's so much easier than it's ever been before. So I really don't even feel deprived. It helps a lot that Bryce and I are doing it together, and he's fixing all things that we can have, all low point things. But just having that support and having Bryce do the same thing and having good meals so I'm excited that it's working well. Okay, I'm going to spread my 2 petals out a little bit. I'm going to try and twist this one so that That's happened with me too, Mary, and just about the time I think I'm going to get discouraged about it, I'll go in and step on the scales and it'll start dropping again. Okay, I'm going to trim my tails a little bit more on this one. So I tied myself this little double 4. And I'm going to put that right on the corner here. In fact, I'm going to move it up onto the corner a little bit. That's going to look really cute. So run some glue around here. One of the things I'm finding is that we found some products that help us with the card cravings. And the 2 products I'm the most thankful for are Barilla Protein Plus Pasta. It's made out of chickpeas, but you'd never ever know that it's not semolina. It's really good pasta. And it has a very low carb load. And they're complex carbs, so your system absorbs it really slowly. So it really isn't messing with your blood sugar much. And that helps you lose weight. So Barilla Protein Plus Pasta, if you haven't ever tried it, that's a good product to try, because what's life without pasta, guys? What's life without pasta? And the other is I don't think this is a regional bread. I think it's national. Dave's Killer Bread, the thin slice, the wheat bread. It's got like 11 or 12 grains in it. And then they have a thin slice version that only costs like 2 points a piece. So you can have a sandwich for 4 points, depending on what you put in it. And that's another, because I got to have bread and I got to have pasta. And I'm loving that.
When else will there be a surgery sale?
Maybe when the surgery happens. You're funny. That's terrible. That's terrible. It's also hysterical, but it's terrible. Oh, dear. I'm wondering what this is going to look like if I put these two together with this one. Maybe if I wrap some green ribbon around it. I think if I wrap some green ribbon around it, it will help. Okay, so I'm going to cover my card with this holographic silver. Glenn. Oh, boy. So, let's see. I'll go ahead and cover my card with this. I'm just so glad I don't have to have surgery right now. I had everything in my life all planned out, and I had all these dates I had to have kind of in limbo for seeing, when I'd be up and around and stuff. And I came home after my doctor's appointment and wiped out the calendar. It was really nice. So we have, I have on-site classes starting next week. So that's going to be pretty fun. I'm starting a quilling series locally. If you're local and you're hearing this, I still have seats available. So I'm excited about that. And we just decided, since I don't have surgery coming up, we have a meetup group. It's called Crafty Friends, believe it or not. Crafty Friends on Meetup for the Portland Tigard area. We have over 200 people, but a lot of them have never been to an event because we started it and the group grew and grew and grew, but then COVID hit. And so a lot of people have never been to, no, it's a gynecological issue, Mary, but it's not happening now. Anyway, what was I going to say? A lot of people have never been to an event, so I think we're going to do a meet and greet with our crafty friends who have never been here. And I have no idea how to plan for that. I have no idea, if we'll have nobody show up or if we'll have 20 or we'll have 40 or I have no idea. So I'm going to do it on a day when the weather should be good. We're going to try and do it before the end of September. And that way we can throw the shop doors open and we can, people can wander out onto the deck, which is very sturdy for 100. I could put so many people out there and it'd be safe because it's new and sturdy. And so I'm thinking, okay, so I've covered my card with this holographic that's got a soft diagonal, just like stitchery line in it. And I'm taking a piece of that pink all over confetti. It's got holographic confetti on it. And now I'm going to take this topper that says soar. And I'm trying to decide how I want to do my ribbon. I think, let's see what it would look like if I wrapped a piece of green top to bottom around that. Let's just see what that would look like. And then put a bow at the bottom, maybe. Yeah, that's going to look good. I think we'll do that. Okay, so I need about 8 inches of ribbon. So I'm just going to put a little piece of tape on the back of my ribbon. That should be plenty. And I think I have just enough ribbon to tie a really pretty bow. And so I've got 5 on-site classes this month, plus our 3 times a week. And now a new quilling club starting. And now maybe some kind of crafty friends gathering. So it's going to be a busy month. I'm glad I don't have to be down. Okay, I'm going to run this right smack down the middle of that pink holographic. I'm running a little roughly 1/2 inch wide piece of green satin ribbon right down the middle of that. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down now. And once again, I'm going to watch the amount of, or not so much the amount of glue, but I'm going to watch how I put this on here so I don't have a little ripple around the edges where my glue line is. I can touch the edges, I just don't want to really rub them down. Got a little glue at the top there. Let me see if I can wipe that off. Which I was trying really hard not to rub on my paper and was successful. So we got that little bit of glue off. Okay, now I'm going to, I can put our soar on here. That's going to be really pretty there. I'm going to raise it more than the halfway mark because I want to put a big pretty bow here at the bottom. So I'm going to put a few foam squares on it. One of these days I do have to have my knees done, but I refused to have them done. I have not been told by my doctors that I had to lose weight before they do the surgery. They just say it's inevitable, it's going to happen. But they've never said we need to do it now. And they've never said that I had to lose weight. But it just does make sense that, you know, getting the weight off before I do, it's going to help my knees. So Bryce and I are planning one day, our dream trip is to go to Italy and spend a good time exploring Italy and eating our way across the country. There's so many things to see in Italy, and that's the place we both said we just really want to go. So getting this weight down, oh my gosh. Glenn, look at you. Glenn's lost 110 pounds. Wow. Cancer's not a good diet plan, Glenn, but I'm so proud of you for keeping it off, buddy. That's amazing. That's amazing. You're an inspiration. See, I can do this. And if I can get around and get this weight down, get my knees taken care of, then I can really explore Italy when we go there. And I really want to do that. I don't want to sit back while Bryce goes and does all the fun stuff. And he doesn't want to do it alone. So it's all good reasons. Huh, honey?
Yep.
Yep, he says. Yep, man, a few words. Yep. Okay, we're going to tie a 4-5-4 bow, a triple here. Gonna put a whale tail in it, so I'll fold it in half like a taco. And we'll clip upward from the fold towards the end of the ribbon. Fold it in half like a taco. Clip upwards towards the end. I should have that one about the same, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's pretty. That's pretty. Let's put some best glue ever on here. Nope, this one. Okay. That's going to look great. Let's set this aside and let it dry. Whoop. Dropped it off. Let's see how some of our others that have been drying are doing. This one I showed you. It's done. That one's still drying. This one is dry. I can tell because my fingers are sticking in it. Now, do I want it up here? I think I want it on the end, guys. There's that beautiful organza. Bryce and I have just been to Mexico and Canada. Have you been to any others, honey?
No.
I haven't even been to Hawaii. I've been to Mexico on our honeymoon, but and we've been to Canada. All right. Jordan was so funny when we went to Canada. She was so into ketchup when she was young, and it was ridiculous. And the only thing she still remembers about Canada and this wonderful trip we took them on is how much she hated the ketchup, because the ketchup was different in Canada. It made her so mad. Terrible. It was a terrible thing. They messed with her ketchup. She's a funny kid, that kid. She hasn't dropped by to see us for a while, has she? I'll have to get after her. Okay, I think this is going to work out well, but I think we're going to want to do some layering again. So I'm going to layer this on this cardstock. And then I'm going to take the rest of this piece of cardstock and cover my card. There it comes. I have all wonderful, nice, fresh glue bottles. I'm so excited. Margie get tired of hearing me whine about my glue bottles being empty. So the other day during class, she sat and filled all my glue bottles up. Never underestimate the power of whining. Lauren and Corey still here?
So they're staying for dinner.
Oh, they are. What are we having for dinner?
So we'll have breakfast casserole.
Oh, that'll be good. Yeah, because they love that. Okay. All right, I'm going to cover my card with this beautiful blue. I love this texture. Love it. I'm going to go ahead and cover my card my normal way. We're having breakfast casserole. And that is a really good dish. It is made with Bisquick, eggs, milk, sausage, potatoes,
And some cheese.
and cheese, and what?
Onions.
onions and cheese. He mixes it all up in a casserole dish and puts it in the oven. And it is the girls' favorite dish. Both Lauren and Jordan say that's just their fave. So since Lauren and Corey have announced they're staying for dinner, they came to get the cat, but they're staying for dinner. I was started to tell you about Meredith, Lauren's cat, earlier, and I think I got distracted. It's not hard to do. Let me see any shiny object and away I go. But Lauren's cat has been so unhappy since she's been gone. In fact, Bryce came and asked me the other day. He said, "Have you seen Lauren's cat in the last couple days?" And I said, "No." But she doesn't often come upstairs. And because of my knees, I don't usually go downstairs. So I don't see her sometimes for a week or two at a time, depending, because she hangs out downstairs. And her food dish is down there, her litter box is down there. She's completely self-contained down there. So that's where she likes to be. Bryce works down there during the week. He still works at home, except one day a week when he goes into the office. But he said, "I'm worried about her because I haven't seen her and she hasn't come to see me at my desk for a while." And he said, "I'm just kind of feeling like I need to find her." So we searched around and we finally located her, and then the two of them had a nice love fest for a while, and Meredith started kind of coming out of it, but she was hiding out here and there in the house because her world changed and she wasn't liking it at all. Just trimming this just a bit more because it just looked like it needed to be evened up a little. There we go. So this time I'm using the polka dot blue paper. It's the real soft textured dots on it. I'm using the light blue with holographic lines paper. And then I'm layering my Free as a Bird on it. I'm almost tempted to put no ribbon on it because I really love the way this looks just like that. Let's see if there's anything we want. I still have a lot of red. Yellow? I don't want any yellow. Yellow might be pretty. I think I'm just going to put corners on it. No bows, just corners on it. Lauren just came in. Say hi to Lauren, my new homeowner, who's getting her house put away, sending her father pictures and not sending pictures to her mother, which is really quite unacceptable, don't you think? So she's taking, what color is Free as a Bird? It is light blue in the background, and it's got like little hummingbirds in the background around the words Free as a Bird, but it's got a different kind of bird sitting on a green branch, and then it's got some orange and yellow flowers up in the corner. So what I've decided to put on here is I'm going to just wrap two of the corners with a little bit of yellow just to have a kind of different color accent. And I'm just going to leave it there because I think that's going to look really good. Because I like the way it looks already. Yeah, a child should not ignore her mother. She says, "I'm not ignoring you. I pick up the phone when you call," and she does do that. She's very good about answering my calls. I might have to tie a little like single bow for this one. I'm deciding as I'm looking at it now. Is that on that sideways? Can you hit that button again and make sure that's taking? I've moved my desk to the window. You've seen that. I'm at the window at the back of the classroom now. And we have cleared all the classroom tables and prepared to have people on site. And I actually have this really nice little area back here where everything I use the most is right within my reach. So they planned it really nicely. I came in and Brittany and Margie had done it. It's really, it's going to be pretty comfortable here, but the air conditioning doesn't reach back here quite as well. I have a wall air conditioner, you know, one of those, what's it called? Ventless air conditioners. And it doesn't reach back this way quite as well. I'm used to sitting virtually right under it from where I sat before. So it can take a little bit. Okay, I like these colors on this. I have to get creative with the next one because I have all blue paper left and I have a red topper. So I'm going to have to get creative with this last one. But I will have completed 17 European A6 cards out of the supplies in my kit, with the exception I added more card blanks. So I will have made 17, because mine was missing one card, one journaling card. I will have completed 17 European A6, and I completed all 18 of the A7s. So that is not straight. It's on foam square, so I think I can lift it. It just wasn't quite straight, which really showed because I have these hash marks behind it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to tie a little, just a little bow for here. As soon as I find my little bow maker.
Good night to Catherine.
Good night, Catherine. Thanks for stopping by, friend. So I'm just going to tie a little. Do I want a 4 or do I even want a 3? I'm going to try a 3. I think I just want a little tiny bow.
She's keeping up with you, even with small ears.
What's that?
Kathy is keeping up with you.
You're keeping up with me. Look at you go. Sometimes I know I go fast, but I do that so I could finish as many samples for you as possible. But when you're working along, if I'm going too fast, you need to tell me that. I can always take a break or do something. But look at you go. Kathy, girly girl. Okay, whale tail. I might have to break down and get something out of my stash to use for this last card. I don't know. But I did say I thought you could get most of the way through your cards with the materials I included in your kit. And, you know, this is number 16. And I still have this much paper left out of my kit. I still have a deep blue, a lighter blue, a textured blue, and 2 of these holographics left after all these cards. So I'm going to put a little best glue ever on my tiny little bow. When it's a tiny little bow like this, sometimes I will put and especially where I wrap the tails right under it, I'll put best glue on both the loop and on the tail, even though the loop is just hanging onto the tail, because I'm afraid that if it's just hanging on there by the tail, that it won't stay like it should. So I'm going to put that up here. That one's still drying. It looks like this one's done. So get this bow. That's just not, I don't think I got all my glue in the right place. I'm just going to glue it with the other one, just because I just didn't get enough best glue everywhere it needed it. That was all on me. The glue's good. The operator error there. So that one. Okay, we got one left to go. Let's see what we can do. I might have to grab a piece of something to add to this because I'm a little concerned that it just, with all this blue, and there's not a hint of blue left in the in this one red topper. So I might have to break down and grab a little piece out of my stash. I can use, I think I can get away with the blue holographic. If I use some, the green looks good. I also have some red. I have red. I think I just need a tiny, tiny piece of yellow. Can you get me a piece of soft yellow cardstock? It's where you were sitting is almost at your shoulder there. And I want a piece of really soft yellow. That's perfect. Thank you. Add one piece of paper, guys. I was so close to finishing it, but one piece of paper. I'm going to go ahead and put this red topper on some soft yellow. Get a nice border around it.
Mary asked, what color is the solid blue?
What? What color is the solid blue? I will tell you if I can. There's actually several colors here.
You cut them all off.
Yeah, I cut the colors. Let's see. This deep one, I can't read it, Mary. I still haven't gone to the eye doctor yet. But I'll show them to you again. Oh, this one, the polka dotted one. Does it have a name on here? No, it does not. It was on the other side. They're all Basil Basics. And these are the three colors. You ate too much pineapple. Okay. All right. So I think it's going to be a creative, it'll be an interesting creative challenge, but I think we can make this work with the blue we have left. Just straightening this up a little bit. And I'm going to let there be a white border around the blue.
She says it's okay, Debbie. Just describe it.
Okay. It's blue. And it is a really deep, rich blue, but it's not as deep as navy.
Is this the polka dot paper?
That's the, yeah, Bryce is going to read the labels. That's when all else fails, read the labels, honey.
It's from Basil, and it's called Surfs Up.
The polka dot is called Surfs Up.
The light blue.
The lighter blue.
There's no color on this.
Hi, Brenda. Don't know how long you've been there, but hello. Okay. I'm going to tie a nice red, good size bow, I think, a 454. You guys who want to see what I'm doing with this bow maker to get these beautiful bows, come and visit our bow making class. If you don't have one already, you will want to pick up the Embellishment Attic bow maker. It's one of my most relied upon crafting tools.
The dark blue is just called Basil blue.
Oh, the darker blue, Mary, is called Basil blue.
And the light blue is called Polly Poo.
Polly who?
Polly Poo.
Oh, and the in-between blue is called Polly Poo. I couldn't make this stuff up. So I put all those blues in your cart or in your kit, and you will have more than enough blue to finish everything with even with the 5x7 cards I matted, and then as much blue as I've used in this kit. I think this is actually going to look pretty good, guys. It's going to look pretty good. This is I'm using up my leftovers card. This is the last of my kit right here. And I think it's going to look pretty good. You guys tell me. But I think that is very nice. I used the blue with the holographic hash marks in it for my background, and I left a white border around that. I framed my red topper in soft yellow to kind of tone down the red a little bit, and I tied a 454 excuse me, a 454 bow for my bow on this out of red satin, and I think it's beautiful. Let's see what we have left to put a bow on. Our yellow isn't dry yet. This green one now is. Let's put this bow right here. Look how pretty that turned out. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, we got two. We're still waiting on the glue to dry. We've done 7 cards in class. You'll get 16 small cards. You'll get 16 big cards. You'll need to add some small card blanks and larger card blanks because I just didn't want this kit to get too expensive. Whew. With the exception of this, my cheat paper, I still have this much left, which isn't really too much to think about it. I actually gauged it not too bad because I could have matted a few more things, but I have those beautiful blues Mary was asking about left, a tiny piece of my holographic left, and that's it. And you will probably, you may have, I'm not sure. I tried to gauge the ribbons, so I was giving you just enough for the cards and the kit. But you guys know I always overestimate. It always happens. So you will probably end up with extra ribbon. Let's look at what we have coming up. I have new things to show you today. So let's see. If you haven't gotten your kit yet, there's still some out there. Will you link this kit, please? And let's see what we have coming up. I will tell you what your supplies are for the...
Is this one?
Yes. Now we have 4 of these left, guys. Just 4 left. That's really good. So grab yours. There's 4 left of the Birdwatcher kits. It's an extreme value, $18.99, and you're going to have everything to make 16 cards. That's $1.15, yeah, thereabouts. A card, and you get toppers and some papers, lots of papers to potentially finish all of them. So that's really good. There's 4 kits left. Grab one if you want it. Okay, this is what our, let me show you a couple things. This is our stamping kit for next Thursday. We're going to make some fall-themed cards with animals. It's going to be super fun. So let's link this one, please, honey, and then I can tell them how much it is. You get this fabulous, big, beautiful A4 stamp set. This is, wow, this is $13.99. This kit for Thursday, $13.99. And you get this A4 stamp set, which is a $20 to $25 value. It's called Wild and Free. It has all kinds of animals. We've got an owl, we've got a fox, we've got a badger, we've got geese, we've got a rabbit or a hare, we've got a squirrel, we've got a hedgehog, and then we have all kinds of things to create settings for them. We have this beautiful bough down here. We have a tree branch and leaves. We've got tracks for the animals. We've got lots of leaves on here. We've got acorns and nuts. We've got lots of things to make some beautiful settings for those animals. And we also get the wild and fun word stamps, which are just great. This one says, you have a new habitat. That's a cute one. I could send that to Lauren. You have a new habitat. Have a great day, duck. That's the badger. I don't know what that means. You may be another year older, but you're another year wiser too. Good luck. Time to branch out. Old friends are the best. Flying by to say hi to a foxy lady. Time to take it easy. Owl, always love you. You bring out the animal in me. I'm nuts about you. And have a hair-raising day. You get all these as an extra add-on set. Holy cow. That's a lot. Let's see what we get in our magazine. I don't think you get papers in this one. No, no papers in this one. So we'll have to make our own papers, which is fine. And we get some nice samples to go with it. So this is Thursday's class. Next Saturday is Paper Jewelry Day. And what I want you to buy for Paper Jewelry Day is super simple. I was going to have Brittany put together a kit, and it just seemed silly because I want you to have just 2 things for Paper Jewelry Day. I want you to get one of these sets, which is called a Border Buddy. We're going to use this in our jewelry. This is called a Border Buddy. This is just a little handle. I end up using it without the handle most of the time, but you'll get squares, circles, and triangles to be able to make shapes for our quilling. It's very inexpensive. Can you link this, please? It's called a Border Buddy.
Where would I find it?
Quilling. If you go into quilling, it will be in that general category.
Are there brands?
No,
Types?
no, it's product types. Go to product types, then quilling, and it'll be under tools. So I want you to have one of these, if you would please. This will be very helpful in our jewelry making. There they are. It's $5.99. This is $5.99. And then you're going to want some quilling strips. Now, you don't have to use the metallics if you don't want to. You can use what you've got in your stash now. You know, I'm a strong proponent of using your stash. But if you want to have the metallic edges, like I will have, did I get the wrong drawer? Like I will have in my jewelry, you will want gilded edge paper. Gilded edge. And I did get some, I was going to show you one. Maybe I just need to go to my quilling box. Like I said, I got everything I need close by now. Yeah. These are what the strips look like. If you want to do the same styles of jewelry I'm doing, you'll want the metallic edge strips. These are a little bit more expensive, but you can do, in fact, if you want to just try out your hand at making jewelry, you can use your regular strips too. Let me show you some of our finished pieces. And we'll be making some in class. If I went back and forth about whether I was going to create a findings kit for the jewelry. Back up just a little, please. Whether I was going to create a findings kit for the jewelry or not. And if you guys want me to fix one, I can and put in all the pieces I use to finish my jewelry pieces. But I didn't want to put the time and effort into putting the findings kits together if you guys just wanted to use what you had in your stash. So I thought we'll go through class together. We'll do the paper part of things. And then if you want me to send you finishing components to, you know, put the necklace together, the little sparklies, the, you know, the chain and the catch, if you want those things, I can absolutely send you a findings kit that will have what you need to finish off your jewelry pieces. I do want to remind you this comes out of the Quilled Quilling Paper Jewelry book. These designs are straight out of the book. And I do have, in fact, I just listed a used copy of that. The new copies, I can't believe I even found new copies, but I did find a few, are $22.95. And then I just listed a used one that's like $19.95 or something. It was in great condition, but it was a used copy. Here's another one of our quilled jewelry pieces. So if you want to make these, you'll either want two different colors of quilling strips, or you'll want the silver and gold edged quilling strips. If we sell out, and I expect to, I have more on the way already. They could even be here by class time. But I have gold and silver gilded strips. This one is not an example of my best work. It's a first effort, but I'll still show it to you because we don't start being perfect. This one is a branch, a wrapped branch. You're welcome, Mary R. I actually have lots of new additions to it. And actually, on What's New Wednesday, I'm going to have all kinds of new quilling books for you. So this is coming up next Saturday, our quilled paper jewelry. I'm super excited to do this, by the way. I love quilling. Did you guys figure that out yet? I totally do. I love it. I love it. It is now one of my favorite pastimes. Now I want to show you our stuff for our bow making class, our kit for bow making. The kit for bow making is not inexpensive. I'm going to tell you that right up front. And I did raise the price on it this time because I pay my girls at work here pretty well. And that's absolutely justified because they're fabulous. But it takes an immense amount of time to make these bow making kits. It takes a lot of time to make the bow making kits. And so my labor cost in the bow making kits is huge. But when you see the kit, you'll understand why. You do get a bow maker valued at $24.95. You're also going to get lots of other things. Oh, week after, yeah. So chronologically, we're up to the week after this on Thursday. This kit is already out there. Margie is going to walk you through on Thursday I don't remember what that Thursday date is. On Thursday the 15th. Yeah, this is right, because this would have been I would have been in surgery recovery. Margie is going to take you through. Can you back up just a little bit so we can see the whole picture? This gorgeous Stitch and Do Bees kit. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I think this kit is $10.99. You'll get 4 cards. You get, in addition to the regular kit, that is not the right envelopes. We're going to have to change these. These are not the right envelopes. They should have given them 5¼ inch envelopes. It looks like they put 6s in there. Need to write a note to Margie to change these before they go out. But Margie's going to take you through this absolutely gorgeous Stitch and Do class. Now, the last Stitch and Do class we had was fun just for learning some of the basic stitches, but this one's much more modern, much more, it's prettier. It's just prettier. And it's only $10.99. You're getting the kit. We're adding the envelopes for the 4 cards. And we are adding a needle to your kit so that you don't have to go figure out what to do for a needle. You already get the stitching yarn, embroidery thread, and you'll have everything you need, $10.99. So I gotta set that out. I gotta fix that kit before it goes out. Okay, and then I'm not sure what the date is of my bow making class. I have one on site. I'm not sure when my online class is. We'll have to figure that out. But in the bow making kit, you get the bow maker and the bow maker magazine. Don't get too excited. The bow making magazine is just okay, but it comes with the comb, so we toss the magazine in too. You are going to get massive amounts of ribbon. Look at that ribbon pack. Lots and lots and lots of ribbon in lots and lots of styles. I do this on purpose. You have just many, many, many different kinds of ribbon because I want you to experience tying your bows with lots of different ribbons. And we're going to tie lots of different styles. You are also going to get, and I'm very pleased to announce these are back. If you've been through our bow maker class before, I probably told you we'll get bow pin kits back in stock someday. They're here. They are here now. So, oh, are there pretty papers in the magazine, huh? Oh, there are some pretty papers in it. Well, that's good to know. You're getting a kit to make a few bow pins in class. No, Angela, I'm not doing the bow class separate, the ribbon separate of the bow making this time, because I would have to charge you nearly the cost of the kit because that's where all the labor is. So I'm not selling just the ribbon and the rest of the kit without the bow maker this time. I would assume that most of you guys, if you already have the bow maker, will have a nice stash of ribbon. Just access your stash. But I have done that before. I'm not going to do that this time because the real time consumption is in cutting. I don't know. I think there's more than 30 pieces of ribbon in here. And in counting out and packaging these, these are super time consuming. So there are bow pin kits out in the bow making area now. You can now get the bow making or the pin kits. You'll see why you want them when we do the class. If you haven't experienced the class yet, you're really going to want to come and join us, even if you're not buying the full kit. If you already have the bow maker, grab your ribbon and join us to go through that class because it's going to be fabulous. And you're getting this little bow pin kit, which we're going to use. You're also getting the components to build a card. What did I do with the card? There it is. Because I want to show you how to attach to use your bow pins and to attach your ribbons. So we're actually going to build one card. So we have a lot going on in this class for the bow maker. But like I said, it's a jam-packed, really, really good class. It's the most popular class I take or that I teach. You'll get the components for a card. You'll get the components to make some bow pins. You'll get the bow maker magazine and those extra papers that Mary talked about, which I didn't know. So thank you, Mary, for bringing that up. You're going to get 30-ish pieces of ribbon, the bow maker itself, and 2 hours of fun. So there we go. It is well worth the price of admission. So get your bow maker stuff for your bow maker class. We are going to have a blast. And like I said, it's the most popular class I teach because we are going to do some amazing, stunning things in that class. And I think that's what I have to share with you today. Hi, Karen. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom to share? That's still not dry. Anybody have any questions, comments, pearls of wisdom to share with us before we get away? Boy, we sure made some beautiful cards today. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. What did I just do with that? Yeah, oh, the yellow bows on it. Never mind. Sometimes I'm kind of goofy, guys. You figured that out, though, didn't you? So we made some beautiful things. Okay. If there are no questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, I'm going to say hit that like button if you haven't done it already. I sure would appreciate it. I always feel good when I see those, and it makes YouTube know that it's safe to recommend us. If you're not already a subscriber to our channel, obviously you are going to want to hit that subscribe button because we have some amazing things coming up. And we are going to teach you some great stuff. You're just going to have a really good time. I will see you here on our YouTube channel at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday for What's New Wednesday. I have new quilling books to show you as well as a bunch of other things. And then we'll be back on Thursday at 4 p.m. with our card making class, our stamping class. And then next Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So there we go. That's what I got to say. For now, I'm going to say good night, Gracie.